Welcome, my muffins of Chaldea, to a brand new video I wanted to try for fun dealing with crossovers. Essentially, it's just me imagining what type of abilities characters from other anime would have as servants in FGO. The quick rundown of how I will go about doing this goes as such. Here, I will place the newly created servant, followed by basic information such as name, servant class, command card type, and then go over the skills in Noble Phantasm. If you guys like this concept and want me to go more in depth, I could also come up with random attack and HP stats, skill names, rarity, etc. So be sure to let me know if that's something you might be interested in. Also, this series will be based purely on anime and not manga or light novel adaptations, just to give more people a chance of understanding, although I might mention them briefly. Without further ado, let's begin with the first anime that I thought could be an easy start, Akame ga Kill. Also, spoiler warning, as I will occasionally discuss why I think the details suit the character. Alright, starting us off, we have our main character, Tatsumi. Tatsumi I've decided to put in the Lancer class with a standard Lancer deck of Buster, Arts, and Quick. Reasoning for this class is due to the main weapon he uses when wearing Incurcio, even though Incurcio itself is a sword. Now for the skills, keep in mind I will be talking about them as if they were at max level 10. Skill 1, based on the armor itself, I've decided to go with a defensive kind of tanky build, and so I've given him a defense buff at 3 turns, being at 30%, as well as a max HP buff of 3000 with a cooldown of 5. Now this, in my mind, is to give him a really strong defensive skill that makes him, be that tanky kind of guy that he is within that armor. He takes a lot of hits. But that is also going to be his only defensive skill in this set. So I wanted to make it pretty strong. No invincibilities or evade. Skill 2, I've given him a 3-turn Buster and Quick buff at 30% with a 3-hit Crit Star Generation buff of 50% and a 3-hit Defense Down debuff at 10%. And the Crit Star Generation buff and Defense Down debuff, those are both 3-hit. But on a 3-turn basis as well, with a cooldown of 6. Now, this is going to be Tatsumi's main power-up, his main aggressive skill. I wanted to make him, again, 3 turns, kind of basing that with the armor itself. He's putting on this armor suit, gives him just overall buffs on everything, defense and attack. And I wanted to make it a bit longer than just a 1-turn buff. And again, I really want to focus on that Lancer class ability of it being both Buster and Quick, because he's going to be focusing on creating a lot of stars and critting hard. And that gives me to skill number 3. Skill number 3, I've decided to put a target focus of 1 turn with an increasing of NP charge by 30%, as well as increasing crit star absorption. Now, I've decided to give him this skill because of the events of the anime. I'm not going to go into too many spoilers, but there's just a lot of situations where he's throwing himself in front of other people to defend them, to take the hit, whatever, however you want to call it. So I've decided target focus was a really good concept for him. And I wanted to make sure that when he also does that, he also kind of powers himself up. So he's increasing that NP charge, and he's also going to be absorbing the stars that he potentially has created due to the second skill for the turn before. And then lastly, we have the Noble Phantasm. The Noble Phantasm I've based around his final golden armor strike from the anime finale. This is going to be a Buster single target hit that is going to be focusing on straight power. So it's going to be increasing the Buster damage for 1 turn. That's going to be his overcharge effect. And it's going to increase NP damage as well, so an additional buff. And then it's also going to increase crit star generation for 1 turn again. And then lastly, it's going to apply ignore invincibility. And then, of course, deal significant damage. So this seems a bit overpowered, but I think this is just going to be a really solid place for him in terms of that ultimate powerhouse hit to, end the fight, be the one-all finisher. To balance this out, though, his NP gain, which I'm not going to get into the stats itself, but I imagine his NP gain will be a bit on the lower side unless he crits. And again, due to that target focus without an invincibility or evade, he's only going to really have either his own defensive skills or defensive skills from support. So I think it kind of balances out in that way, in terms of he's super hitting hard, but he doesn't really have amazing survivability. And that concludes part 1 of 3 for Akame ga Kill. Originally, I was going to do 3 characters in one video, but realized the video would be a bit too long for my liking. So I've decided that for each anime, I will do 3 characters back to back in separate videos before I switch on to the next anime. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and be on the lookout for Akame ga Kill Part 2, where I will cover the main heroine, Akame. Thank you, and have a nice day.